The importance of digital literacy skills for students is becoming more and more apparent as technology continues to envelop the daily lives of both children and adults. From social interactions to entertainment, education to professional life, the ability to use technology effectively is now considered essential for modern advancement and success. ASHA Makana is the founder of YETU, a community-based organization dedicated to teaching children from the less privileged communities how to code.
I am a data analytics engineer. I lead a team of about 20 in a telecommunications company. So aside from that, I ran YETU. I started YETU in 2018, and it was from a place I love spending time with kids. So when I was celebrating my 22nd birthday, I went to Thika School for the Blind and had my birthday there with the kids. We played, cut cake, had sodas and everything. And then I tried to go there. I think I went back 3 times because there are certain kids that I really connected with, so I wanted to visit them frequently. But then you see the distance from huku Nairobi to Thika, it's so far. So that's when I decided to look around me, see whether there is a close home that I can go frequently, visit frequently. So that's how I landed to Makime Children's Home, started doing coding classes with them every Saturday. So after like identifying the home, went back home, thought like, okay, if you want to spend time with these kids, I think you should be doing something. That's when I decided to import the coding kits, imported them from Amazon, and then we just started playing around with it. After playing with it, then we onboarded another school, and it's just been like a growth, upwards trajectory from then, starting from like about 11 kids to now over 200 kids in the program. I come from Western. I come from a very, very big family. We are about 14 kids. Yeah, and I'm the last born daughter. And so just being brought up with a lot of support. I think that support, I've always been the kid in the family. So when I visit these kids, you realize, oh, these kids don't have that. So partly I think that's how I connect with the kids, to just give them the love that I received. And also like during my primary school education, I went to a public school in Mashinani in the village, and there used to be a teacher who, I think he just spotted how maybe bright I was, and then he started mentoring me. At that point, I didn't know he was mentoring me because I was a kid, I didn't understand a lot of things, but he could make sure, Asha, you've done your assignment. He used to stack my bag with storybooks, like take me, go to the library, you are going to read this book, this book, this book. Whenever like my head was unshaven, like weekends, Asha, we are going to the barber. And then like he was just so close to me, just taught me a lot of things. He also used to love kids a lot. So he could tell me, Asha, so-and-so has a problem, let's call him to the office, we'll help them out. Sometimes he could give me money to go give those kids. Yeah, so I think he was nurturing that aspect of observing him take care of other kids and also teaching me how to do it. Then around standard 6, I was transferred to another public school, so I left him in the other school. So that teacher was like, he used to call me, Papa, you're leaving? I'm like, yes, I don't know how Mom has decided to transfer me. Imagine he could come to the other school to pick me with his car and drop me home. Yeah, and then unfortunately, standard 6 towards end of year, he passed on. It was an accident. It was the next day to Eid, and every Eid he could come spend time with our family. So we are Muslim, so that day we were given an off from the school. I was in, so I was like, oh, let me pass by the former school, check on Mr. Paul, and tell him to come home for Eid tomorrow. met him. He was like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. The next morning, mom sends me to buy milk in the shop, and I met one of the students from my former school. Like, Asha, you know what has happened? You know, to Mr. Paul has passed. I did not believe it. Devastated me. Like, I just like, no, it's a lie. Went back home. Then I told mom casually, Mom, Mr. Paul ati amekufa. Like, mom was shocked. She cried. Then that's when it hit me. And nursing, like going through that as a kid, I think it just also brought out something different in me. So devastated. Took a lot of time for me to heal. Probably many months. And then, yeah, I think after I healed, so looking at myself right now, taking care of other kids, I think there are just so many parameters that has played in my life to get to a point where I don't like seeing kids suffer. I like just caring for them.
Coding, otherwise known as programming, is the process of creating instructions that computers then interpret and follow, and it is a basic literacy in the digital age.
Coding itself, it's like you're learning a new language, and mostly we use computers to help us solve problems, yeah, to do tasks for us. So it's like you learn how to create a solution, you learn how to identify a problem, then create a solution. And how are you going to create that solution? Now you need a computer, you need to speak to it to communicate. So basically it's teaching them the language, how to communicate, and then now how to tell a computer, I have this problem, kindly solve it for me. So kind of starting from problem solving, critical thinking, and collaboration. You see the way they work. It's interesting. There's a parent who's come and told me, Asha, since my kid joined YETU, I've seen a very big improvement, even the way he's performing in school. He couldn't speak before people, but right now he's very confident. The way he translates problems into solutions, it's different before. So coding teaches them just not the language, the big technical words, but it's also preparing them mentally. If I get a problem, how am I going to approach it? So from identifying, thinking, being a problem solver, collaborating, confidence, self-esteem. I used to see those things like online, like, but I didn't buy them at first. For me, I wanted to experiment, well, more like experiment, see what it does. But I've come to realize, yes, it's true. Coding really teaches kids a lot of skills. I wanted to spend time with the kids. So after importing the device, teaching them, that's when you start getting in more requests. And at one point, the point that I realized, okay, you need to come up with a name for whatever thing you do on Saturday. I was seated in the office and Safaricom, I work at Safaricom, so there are people submitting like, I don't know, there are some awards, heroes or something, and my boss then said, Asha, I've seen you do a project, a coding project with kids. Can we submit that for the Eagles and Angels award? I'm like, okay. And said, okay, give me information about it. What's the name of whatever you do? I didn't have an idea, so sat down like, okay, you need a name now. But so I figured we code, and it's not just me coding, it's for community, it's ours. So that's it, let's call it YETU, because the way I thought about it was just we code, and I'm coding for the community. I'm trying to raise these kids understanding coding, so that's it, it's our code, YETU.
With the assistance of dedicated volunteers, the community-based organization conducts coding classes for over 200 students every Saturday and Sunday, with a diverse reach out of children's homes, slums, and rescue centers across 4 counties in Kenya.
We started in a children's home setup. So these kids go to different schools, but they reside in this children's home. So you'll find the children's home that we started with, these are kids who are abandoned completely from birth. Like abandoned from birth, and then they're raised in that home. Then there's another home that we go to now, these are kids rescued from the streets. And so they're kind of in the rehabilitation. They reside in that home. And then we have kids now in Kibera. For Kibera, I identify kids that come from poor families. So it's a school, but then we identify like kids who really need that digital skills. And then we have Lamu. Lamu is also a school setup. So that was just identifying kids from interest. I visited that school. That's another very interesting story. Like just walking to a school, started talking to a teacher. I expected Lamu is a very beautiful place when we see it online in photos, people vacationing. When I went there, visit this school, you realize it's a class where kids are sharing 2 classrooms in one. Other students are facing this side, the others are facing that side. They didn't even like have a computer, but the good thing, the head teacher was she's like a very driven teacher. So when I told her what I do, she told me, Asha, I know the opportunity that thing has. Even though I don't have resources, we are going to do it. I'll push myself. I'm going to get a computer and I'll give you girls to do it. We started doing it, we enrolled them to a program, and imagine those girls want to go to Silicon Valley. It's a really amazing thing for them. And they've gotten so many opportunities out of that. And then we have Samburu. Samburu also, it was a connection from a friend like, Asha, I see you teach coding. Can you come teach my girls in Samburu Girls Foundation? So for them, the young girls rescued from early marriage and female genital mutilation, FGM. Those kids have some of the most heartbreaking stories I've ever had. Like you get a 9-year-old undergone FGM and was married, and she was being abused because she can't give birth. And I like working with such kind of kids because that kid, for her to go past that situation, she's a very powerful kid. Her resilience is just out of this world. Those are kids that will give a problem, that's an opportunity, they run with it. And they as well really did well in Technovation, and they were selected to go to Silicon Valley. We've also gotten a lot of opportunities out of that. I hear some of the stories that they tell, like, wow, it's amazing.
I had seen what ASHA does. So she has a community-based organization that hopes to reach and empower children out there. And she was looking for volunteers, people who have been in the field. And I was, at that time, I was just in campus, and it was an interesting opportunity. So I just jumped on that ship, and that was the most exciting thing that I've done so far. We have like boot camps such as this, or workshops, after school teachings, where we just help to nurture the kids to grow creatively in coding especially. We use platforms such as Scratch, where we teach them critical thinking and coding concepts such as introduction to programming. We do things like version controls, where we're able to teach them all this stuff. Coding is becoming more and more a requirement in their daily life, especially with now everything that is happening in our life. The kids are adopting it more quickly, and they have really friendly teachers. Like, apart from myself, we have other people who I work with, and they have this nurturing care to their children.
I handle MakeArts. It's a program that has fundamentals in programming. My kids age from age 5 to 10. They're usually very curious, so MakeArt allows them to interact with shapes, different structures, you know, like a robot, then you put shapes, so that's ideally algorithms to create something. From how I would explain it to my kids, coding is building small bits of something to create one big thing. For being kids, they're in an age, they're interactive, they build things out of curiosity, they want to know how things work. So to make it easier, we have broken down YETU to bits. An example would be, how would you explain algorithms to be? As an engineer, algorithm is bringing together structured items to create one big thing. Outside, you'll get curious kids, you'll get innovative kids, because they will see there's nothing big for them to not handle and do. Because in a world where you tell them that you can actually make a robot out of the things you have at home. That toy car that is electric, you can take that battery in it, you can take that small engine in it and create something else. So even when they go outside, they'll be innovative kids. It's not only being told do this, but they'll be able to handle things. We are moving to a digital age where it will be able to ease in the work ahead. So we'll have a generation of kids who are innovators, engineers, will actually be able to solve things in the world from the knowledge they have acquired from engineering.
ASHA is intent on empowering the children with digital skills to aid in overcoming the various challenges they might encounter.
In 2019, that's when ASHA came to our school and we started coding. She started teaching us with the simplest coding language, that is make art, and then after make art, we moved to Scratch. After Scratch, we moved now to CSS and HTML, and I advanced because I had this passion in computer. So right now, I've been able to, I've already done Python, and I'm doing JS, that is JavaScript. And through this entire journey, I've been going on very well. I've been able to advance. I've made my website, which is having the sample of my games made in Scratch. And as well, I have a GitHub, which I've now pushed my code, which is being stored, and it's not getting lost really, so it's at a safe position. I started at Makata, then I moved to Scratch. So after making some games here, we have all these games, even Candy Crush. So these games, I made them myself here in Scratch. Yeah. Really? So after making these games, now I became innovative and thought of, now, if I want to present my games, where can I present them? So I now moved to HTML and have had that idea of building the website, which is now having the games. And that's how it came off, and then I had now the website. So the website is having different presentations of different games, but from scratch. So as we go down, we have two. These are the home page, where we have the carousel showing 2 pictures of the game and 1 picture of a mountain. And then now I have a footer. So on top I have a navigation bar which has multiple pages. I have a page about me here, which has a small, and then it has my picture and as well a footer. And then when you come to my games, now this is where you find all these games which I created in Scratch. They are in different series. So we have the first one, then we have the second game, the third game. Yeah, and I didn't finish putting all of them. And then now finally we have the footer.
So you created all this by yourself?
Yeah, all these are created by myself.
I met ASHA in 2023 when we were doing Technovation. I see myself very far, and I know that one time I'll become like ASHA and even more.
Although there is an inadequacy of computers, ASHA and her team are traversing through the challenges to meet their end-term goal.
The journey, it's fulfilling, but it has a lot of challenges. It's a lot of challenges, and given that I'm not just the teacher, practically these kids look at me. Some have written me emails requesting me to be their mother, like, you're the only person that I trust, the only person that I know. I've never known my mother, can you be my mother? Some even know I'm their big sister. So I'm just not dealing with them as like being their teacher. So being like a whole support system for them, it comes with a lot of challenges. There are a lot of expectations, but yeah, I manage. We as YETU need support in just making sure that we have enough computers. These kids are so many, they're so eager to learn, but so far we've not had any like donors or any funding. Mostly rely on our own pockets. And then these volunteers, yes, it's good they're volunteering their time, but we are all human, and it's not economical for them to keep coming and then you're not even like giving them the transport allowance. So for YETU to be sustainable, I think if we can get funding to just be able to support our volunteers, make sure the classes run smoothly, we are paying for some of the softwares, and then we get the computers. I think we can expand it to as many schools as possible. The kids motivate me, trust me. Since I started, if I just go away even for one weekend, the number of emails I get in my inbox. Teacher, we've not seen you. Are you okay? Teacher, Mom, they're so worried. Like a kid is typically very worried because they've not seen you for one weekend, and I have to explain to them. So they really challenge and motivate me to just know that you're here for these kids. It's like just walk the journey with them, never leave. This a small baby, I think you might have interacted with her. When I started teaching her, she was also very little. But right now she's grown a bit. I think she's 7, she was 5. She told me, "Teacher, please never leave me." Imagine, out of nowhere. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I just come here and teach. But then they hugging like, "Teacher, please never leave me, and wherever you go, please always go with me." That time she was really young. So they motivate me out of just the deep connection we have for each other.
Scaling YETU to greater heights through her digital skills and experience is part of ASHA's game plan, and she firmly believes in the transformative power of community, partnerships, and shared goals to effect positive change in the world.
For me, I see it like being a center where kids just come and experiment with technology. They code, they get to play, they get to bond, like we establish like a safe community. I see us bringing in lots of kids who are very abandoned, who go through these difficulties, have a difficult start, then giving them that hope and giving them the skills. So I see it being a community where kids are able to find the support they need and they learn the skills. We are going to be, I believe in them, I believe they're going to create the next kids platform in Africa, because they've started so early and they understand the software so well. So I see them building a platform for other African kids to code.
I would like to thank her, because not everyone could give me this one. It has really helped me a lot.
I don't think there are any words to tell Asha. It's a big dream she has actually brought to realization. Looking at the kids, it's not limited to the age. It's from 5-year-old, it's to teenagers. We've seen them graduate and even take it to the world. So what she's doing, it's generational. It's not only for her or kids, but it's generational. So, and I think I'm excited to see what is ahead of her and even ahead of YETU.
Something interesting about Asha is the way she's visionary, and you being able to conceptualize the dream and the vision and being able to implement it to become realistic, that's something really great. Because while I was joining, Asha just mentioned that she wants to give them the opportunity that most of us did not have while we were coming up. And this is something that most of us, it was a beacon that we could follow. And Asha was amazing in that she provided the space, because when we started, she did it in children's homes. These are people who are less privileged, and it was nice. It was nice. She was accommodative, not only just to the kids in the children's home, but also to us who had never taught. Because there's a difference between practical life and now teaching. She was able to also guide us to be able to know how to handle kids, how to communicate with them. You know, because in the life, day-to-day life, you have managers, you have product managers who, like, they give you deadlines, they give you, this was more of a collaboration.
To her, it's a very, very big thank and a big love for her. She has been there for us, trying each and every day, making effortful days to come and teach us. And as well, we have been showing cooperation, and we'll continue showing cooperation as we collaborate, and we'll get to listen from her whenever she has something to tell us. And it's a big thank you to her.
YETU, you can find us online. We have our website. It's YETU.org. And then on Instagram, we have a very active Instagram account. It's called YETU Code. And also just we have information. If you check our website or our Instagram, you'll find information on how you can enroll your kid to our classes. So if we are able to bring in more kids then who can pay, then they'll be able to sustain the program for the kids from the disadvantaged families. So our core is the disadvantaged, but we also welcome the privileged kids so that the funds that we get from them are able to support this other community. A piece of advice: kids absorb a lot. They're like sponge. They just absorb things. So we need to figure out a way of making sure that the things that we're giving them, we also cushion them a little bit, and then we give them the right information. There's information scattered all over, so guiding them and supporting them, and also make sure that kids have an outlet. Like, I see whatever they express in their coding, typically whatever is going around them. This kid, after Valentine's, will go into a class and the class will all be red, saying whatever they observed. So whatever content that we put out there, the information that we expose our kids in, they pick it up. And if we can be more positive, there's a lot of negativity. If we can be more positive, it will help us grow a very positive generation. And also just let's cushion them and support them whenever they can.